Some heroes walk on 4 legs. I'm Jason Johnson, founder of Project K9 Hero. Not every retired police K9 or military working dog has a home to go to in retirement. We strive to ensure no hero is left behind. We cover the medical needs of our program members after their faithful service. Our organization also provides a lifetime sanctuary for many of these heroes who may suffer from PTSD. And whenever possible, we find them a forever home. Visit ProjectK9Hero.org to learn how you can help protect those who protected us.
First corner, driver number 1 looking to the inside of 2. Second place, sets himself up for a pass going into this carousel. Is he going to be able to get his nose in there? Go.
Welcome to the Ghost Cup Series here today at Dover Motor Speedway, also known as the Monster Mile, a place that Jimmy Johnson absolutely dominated during his run in NASCAR. But here I'm joined today by TJ. If you want to say hello to the people that are watching right now.
What is going on, everybody? I'm TJ here, again, back from last week. I'm ready. It's going to be an exciting race. It's going to be high action, lots of passion, lots of passing and passion, and keep an eye on watching those guys coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, turn 2 is where the car really likes to unload on itself, and that rear end, once it unloads, you got no grip. You're just kind of holding on and saying, well, hope I don't crash what drivers are currently in their qualifying. I will pull up some race info that you see there. The Dover, a little bit shorter than, or a little bit longer than a mile. I mean, barely over a mile. But turns 1 and 2, if I can get the exit here, let me choose somebody that is on track. Right here in this part of the track, I will actually pause it right here. Probably about that cone, I would say, is where those cars really like to snap loose. They want to unload. That's where drivers really will have the car step out on them, so they can't go full speed out there or it will bite them hard. But I'm definitely watching. That's going to be one area that I will be watching, because I know if anybody's in a wreck, it'll be off that corner. Especially on cold tires, they do not like to get going very well at all. But drivers still, they have about a minute left here for them, so we will wait for them to get done. I think we did have a couple of new ones. The 47 is a new driver who literally joined like 8 minutes ago. Everybody else is returning from that. You have, looks like 25 drivers in here that will be on the track. We'll have about 27, but one of them is race control and one of them is the announcer, so I do not count those cars. So I might have to move some people up. So if I ever say that this person's actually here, they are, because that person is not on the track for them. If anybody is on the track, looks like actually everybody is done with qualifying. Some of them haven't put a qualifying lap down. You don't have to. If you would rather, run from the back to the front, see how the car handles, that's a good thing to do. iRacing has added a new update. What I've heard is it's more tire usable or using than anything else. It really likes to burn them off, so they'll have to start saving that. Did hear that the splitter was hitting a lot on the track, so that's going to make those cars kind of get bouncy and shoot up also. They're not going to be able to go really hard on that at all. We'll have to watch.
I went out and ran a whole bunch of laps with these guys, and the car sits very, very low to the ground, and it's pretty much almost bottoming out all the way through the corner and sometimes down the straightaway. But what I found is that the tires are actually holding up pretty good. I run 40 laps in these things. I had 90% tires after 40 laps on the right sides. I feel if these guys manage their tires very well, a lot of these guys you're going to see 2 tire stops come the end of this race. I promise you.
We will go over the starting order here. Patrick McQuaid first, Jeff Taylor second, William George third, Warren Young fourth, Joseph, not even going to try to say that name because I will butcher that, sixth, Brock Whitehead seventh, Lucas Whitehead eighth, DJ Daniel ninth, Ryan Sizemore 10th, Lilith Peters 11th, Trey Whitehead 12th, Larry Murphy 13th, Chris Hupko 14th, Noah Owens 15th, Jonathan Cogswell 16th, Dylan Ellis 17th, Christopher Cash 18th, Brandon McLaughlin 19th, Charles Whitehead 20th, Johnny Williams 21st, Matt Metler 22nd, Chris Zofield 23rd will be Chris Roberge, 24th will be TJ Hanley, and 25th will be Mike Sabanowski. I had to move some of those guys up because it put TJ as being on the track, but he is, of course, not racing here today. Wait for everybody to grid. We'll be waiting on really one more person and Lilith to grid, and then we will give them a paint refresh because I want to make sure drivers' paints are what they are supposed to be, so sponsors get to have some air time. Always am keen on that, that's for sure. Sure I have these cameras loaded? Yes, I do. Sometimes I'll make the mistake of not having them loaded. Looks like everybody's gridded now, so cars will go white and they'll pop back in with their paint scheme as you can see it there. 3, 4, yeah, everybody will load in here. 200 laps, so tire conservation, if you burn them off, there was one person who posted something in the Discord earlier, and they absolutely cooked their tires. They're probably going to have to learn, yeah, I can't go like that. I'm going to have to back it down. Because if you do that again, it will come out and bite you.
Yeah, it's gonna basically base off of what rack and pinion they're running, how hard they're driving it into the corners, how hard they're turning it into the corners, and how quick they're getting back out to that wall without scrubbing that speed off.
And these drivers did get to practice. This is a fixed custom setup league by Team Watson Racing. Use code WATSSPIN39. That is WATSPIN 39 for 5% off your purchase of one of their setups. Made by Kenny Coppola. He does a lot of stuff for it. Tries to make the sets drivable for everybody, but this new tire update has been throwing him really hard. That's kind of done with all setup shops. They've been having to change completely how they build. RPMs were reduced, new tire model, so everything has changed for him. As we almost have people brake checking each other. Back of the pack, and it's not even lap 1. They can save that for later, hopefully. The pace car will be pulling off here. 200 laps here at a track called the Monster Mile, where Jimmy Johnson had his amazing qualifying save back in the early 2000s. I don't know how he didn't hit that wall. Pace car is off, though. McQuaid and Taylor, the front row, going to enter the restart, or the start zone here. As starter has the flag in hand. We are underway here at Dover Motor Speedway. It'll be McQuaid who will lead that first lap. William George looks like he took a spot from Brock Whitehead there. That'll put him up to 4th right now. He's going to set his sights on Warren Young. These guys in the back are pretty much single-filed out as... Who was that shot off that corner? That might have been Noah Owens. I think he bottomed out, and he could really tell from there. That car tried to shoot up the track, but he did not let it. Seems like most guys so far are not having to deal with a super loose condition. That being said, I'm not driving it right now, so some of these guys will be having a handful. It just doesn't look like it.
The cars actually get tighter as the run goes on. You'll see these guys start pushing real hard about 15 laps in.
Once that right front starts to get off, as we got DJ who bangs off the wall coming off of 4. He does not want to do that multiple times. That'll knock that toe. If you knock that toe, it will start to get tight, or the steering will just be absolutely destroyed on it. As looks like we got Brock. That might be Lucas up here. Nope, that is Brock Whitehead. Thought he put it 3 wide. He's going on William George for this position. I think George might have a pretty good run off the corner. He'll be able to stay side by side with Brock. So Brock's going to have to work for this position. He's not going to have it given to him as he looks like take it. Maybe Williams going to hang on that quarter panel so Brock can't come up the track quite just yet. So he'll finally get that position done. As you see Chris Hupka, the man that runs this here. Looks like he's back where he started. He just got around Jonathan Cogswell for a position. Jonathan looks like he's riding that middle line, cutting down and getting a pretty good run as we've got guys stepping out on the exit of these corners. You think you can go flat out on the exit of the corner when it's pretty deceiving. You have to kind of be gentle with them most of the time. Now, if you have heated up tires, you can maybe get away with it a little bit, but it'll come out and get you every now and then if you're not careful.
Patrick McQuaid is setting sail right now. That is for sure. Hopefully he's going to not burn up his tires right away. Looks like these cars are starting to space out a little bit. Might be able to give these guys a good green flag run, but any of those guys, you know, back in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th area where they're might be saving a little bit, look for them to start coming on within the next 10, 15 laps.
Yeah, it kind of that separates a lot of drivers. Some drivers are fast for about the first 10. I'm a longer run driver. I want that longevity. That I'll let them go because I know I'm going to catch them. So I want to see about lap 15 to 20. I think we'll start to see who saved their tires and who burned them off compared to everybody else. I think we do have some guys that are stepping out. I think Larry Murphy keeps hitting the wall before. Either that or he's getting incredibly close to it every single time. We just had somebody say, go 77, the Nelsonville Intimidator.
That is a sharp-looking ride. Now, see, we were running comparable laps, if not faster laps, 15 laps into the run on these tires during testing. So if you manage them really well, you'll be able to get a lot of speed out of them for a long time.
I think these guys are kind of just finding where they can get in deep, where they can't get in deep. They're trying to push it a little bit more because they're trying to just find the edge on this. Some guys are better in race trim. I'm someone who's better in race trim. I cannot qualify to save my life. But once they get the feeling of the car, how it's actually going to handle around other people, that's where they like to drive. It looks like Brock's trying to peek his nose on Warren. Warren's giving him the bottom. He's letting him know that he's there, though, as he might be running up the track here a little bit. I think Brock might be somebody to watch so far because he's kind of cutting through this pack ever so slightly. It's taking him a little bit, but he's up to 3rd now as he takes that spot from Warren Young, so he'll have to tuck in behind. Hopefully, he's hoping to not lose a spot to William George as Joseph, I don't even know how to say that last name, is currently up to 6th right now. He's actually started 5th. He's only lost 1 position, but early on, I wouldn't be worried about losing a lot of positions at this point. I'd just be driving as TJ got lost or loose off that corner. Almost had it step out and wipe out Roberge with him.
These guys are pretty much all kind of staying single file here.
Nobody's really racing side by side. I mean, when they catch him, yeah, you got to go side by side. As Brock, he's actually taking a spot from Jeff here. Didn't even see that, but he took that, so now he's up to 2nd. Now, Patrick, he's kind of been setting sail a little bit. He's currently, Brock was barely faster. Brock ran a 22.9 flat. Patrick ran a 22.94, as that time Patrick just ran a 22.94. Looking at their times from earlier, not too much fall off. Some of them, as we got, that's Trey blocked in here.
Yeah, he's got a way to go. He's got a 2-second lead on the 31 car right now, but again, he stepped out. Hopefully he's been able to save. These guys back here, they're not saving, running side by side hard like they are.
They're not. Warren's got to be careful. Trey's not giving him a lot of room, but he's not pinching him either. He's just running that line. So Warren's trying to fight and hold his position, but looks like he's probably going to drop from 3rd to maybe 9th here if he can't battle Trey as, that was Joseph who just banged off the wall. DJ will get that position. Definitely seen drivers in the wall might be getting a little bit tight on exits. They might want to be waiting a little bit longer to let that car rotate. If you do not, that'll happen again. If you knock that toe in enough, it messes with the steering so much and actually hurts the tires because it starts to burn more of them off. As looks like he's probably a Army person. As I don't know if you could tell me, how do you say that name? I just looked at the chat. How do you say that last name? Because I cannot say names to save my life, but that's a hard one.
Well, I'm not even going to try it.
I wouldn't blame you. I mean, that's really difficult, but he's doing pretty well so far. He's sitting in 11th. He has lost 6 positions, but he's right outside the top 10 as 2 cars step out. That was Trey and DJ. Just kick out on him. Trey's still trying to get this spot from Warren.
Now, the driver I'm watching is the same driver that I was watching last week. Lilith in that black and green number 23. Or number 14. She's making her way up through the field, and she's pretty quick. Started back in the 10th position.
She's substitute driving for Christian Roos here tonight.
It is green. I thought I saw it green, if I'm not mistaken. I think maybe the number, maybe Trey Whitehead is the black and green one.
Yeah, Trey Whitehead's the black and green. Lilith is the 14 this race. She filled in last week for Chris Hupka. She's filling in this week for Christian Roos. Looking at times, though, McQuaid and Whitehead are pretty much, I mean, they're almost exactly the same. I don't really see much difference between the 2 drivers in their times currently.
Well, one of them needs to start searching around and finding out what's going to work. I'm looking further on in the back of the pack, and some of these guys are starting to back the corner up a little bit and allowing that car to get to the bottom of the corner coming out of the exit, which is giving them a massive run coming down the straightaway.
Drivers, they'll learn a little bit too. As the run goes on, I'm kind of somebody who will pick up some stuff. They'll pick up some stuff also. You'll be like, these tires are kind of shot. Let's just start riding this line and see what happens. And if it works, you're like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this if they get wore out, or you might just completely change your line because it just doesn't work for you. So this is a track that you kind of got to find what works, find what doesn't work. Some people like to wash up in the corners. Some people like to just hold on to the bottom. It just really depends on how you've learned to drive this track. Like Lilith going to be cutting through the field here. She's up to 6 now, just got past Warren Young.
See, I'm watching George and Jeffrey, and George is backing that corner way up and getting a huge run coming out of the straightaway right up to Jeffrey's bumper. And Jeff's kind of figured out what he's doing, and it's kind of keeping that momentum back there, but they're gaining back right up out of the back of Whitehead, and I think Whitehead might have burned up his stuff a little bit.
We're on board right now with William. You saw Jeff's kind of step out there just a tad, but I do see what William is doing now. He's really getting a good run down the back stretches here. You can see that run that he gets there on Taylor. He's not close enough, but Taylor could be kind of... One thing you can do when you're a driver like this is, you get closer to somebody, it kind of honestly gets a little bit harder because they could start changing their line. I'm somebody, if you're behind me and I know you're going to catch me, I'll actually start running where you want to run. And I'll kind of maybe brake a little bit sooner, maybe go in a little bit deeper so you can't get your normal line and try to throw you off. Is what some of these guys might be doing.
It's not going to matter much longer because Lilith is up to 5th.
Yeah, Lilith is definitely coming. Warren might get a spot back on Lucas Whitehead. So I think these tires are starting to show for some of these guys who have absolutely just went out there and burned them off. It's coming back. It took a little bit, but yeah, you'll always see it. It'll always come back and get you at tracks. It doesn't matter where you are. Tires will pay off most of the time. It's like TJ. I'm surprised TJ. He's up 7 positions. He's currently in 18th right now. I'll have some connection issues most of the time. We got some guys back here probably just struggling, trying to learn the track. It's just not going well for him, as it's definitely not going well for Rowfield, as he just hits the wall there. But McQuaid is, or not McQuaid, Whitehead slowly just eating into that lead right now. He's running up on Charles Whitehead. It looks like he will probably use a draft of him, and then he'll get far away in the corner. I saw somebody shoot down to the bottom of the track there, but I was wrong. As these guys are 30 laps into the race, that we will take our... I was going to say we're going to take our first one, but it looks like we've got Lilla trying to get a spot on William here.
Yeah, they're fighting lap traffic pretty hard. George gets right up to the lap car, and she'll get right to his bumper, and it's kind of chaotic, but they're managed to get through it quite well.
Yeah, this is where lap traffic can either win your race or lose your race. I know I've had a couple of times where under lap traffic guys absolutely messed with me. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me, because they'll just park it right in front of you. They'll take the line that you want to run. But I don't think anybody's doing that right now currently. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that. I think we just saw DJ ripping that high line. He's trying to get something. He has some right front damage, so that car is not going to want to turn.
The best thing that you can do, as a lap car, when you got those leaders coming behind you, is just get consistent and run in one lane, because those leaders will understand where you are, and they can just prepare for it before they even get by you, and they can go on and they have no issues.
Yeah, especially, you know, when I drive, I kind of try to run a consistent line, but I really get the leaders to catch me in the corner, and then I just let off the throttle and let them wash up to the wall. Just get out the way of the guys, as it looks like we've got Williams looking on Taylor. He's been working on Taylor for a lot of laps. He gets closer, and he's actually got under Taylor now, so Taylor's going to be a little bit tight because he can't turn down like he needs to. This might punch a hole for Lilith to go through right behind Tim.
She's going to get through there too. George's been backing that corner up. Lilith is doing exactly the same thing that George is doing, backing that corner up, going into 3, getting that run, getting down to the bottom of the corner, getting back to the gas as fast as they can, and they get that huge run coming off as you see George and Lilith move up to the 2nd and 3rd positions.
Looks like Brock, he's actually, so probably Patrick got caught in some lap traffic because Patrick is absolutely pulling away. But now that these guys have calmed down, we will take our first commercial break here.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And we are back here at the Monster Mile. Patrick McQuaid, he is currently leading. He's absolutely dominating the field right now. Kind of setting sail every now and then. Brock will gain, but Lilith looks like she might go up to 2nd here. She's actually running some of the fastest times on the track. Brock picked it up, and I think Brock realized, I've got to go now. I cannot be waiting as Lilith gets right up on the bumper of him. Almost trying to rattle him. Thought she was going to take a swipe at him there, but she's right up on him. Try to get her on the high side, and she almost had it, started plowing. She had to get out the throttle.
Oh.
Almost could get there, but she was just a little too tight. Had to bail out and just pedal it as Mike Simonowski's down pit road. DJ missed pit road. We'll have to go back around again. He's actually all the way down to 18th. He has smacked that right front, so that car is probably not turning. I'm gone.
Lilith is gonna make the pass on the outside. Oh God, that was close. Move Lilith to second.
Go back and watch that. As I was watching DJ, I do want to rewind as she actually might have used the wall to help her. Oh yeah, she almost got put in the wall. She definitely squeezed her way up there.
Yep. 51 down on the apron. Not sure what's going on with him. He's got issues.
He might have been trying to go to pit road. We already saw a DJ miss the entry to pit road, so it's not. I mean, it's not impossible that he just missed it. It's kind of hard to get here on pit road. You try to get all you can, but it's just so flat. It just wants to spin out on you, so you have to be careful every single time you get down there. This car will just want to shoot sideways. TJ Hanley is now up to 13th after starting 25th. That's literally dead last on the track.
George is working over Brock coming out of the straightaway here. Gets to his inside. Gonna sail it off into 3. See if Brock's gonna fight him very hard for it. Doesn't look like it. Brock's gonna settle in behind. Move George up to 3rd. Brock back to 4th.
These guys are now, this is the run where I think they're getting near the end of the fuel run as DJ Daniel. He's now down pit road. He already popped his fast repair. He probably just beat that toe in so much that it just wasn't wanting to turn like it needed to.
Well, you can't keep plowing a wall down and expecting the car's going to be able to turn coming through the corner.
Now, these will take some hits every now and then. You can kind of lightly brush it, but if you pound it, you'll find out real quick that it does not like that at all. Quade's losing his lead here a little bit.
They are tough cars. You know, George got into that wreck after he had that miscue last week with that auto fuel. It gave him less fuel than what he could get to the end because he had been not running it harder than he had expected to. And he had to go back and pit and got in that big wreck, and he was fine. He had like 50, 60 seconds worth of damage, but was still run all the way up, back up into the top 3 by the end of the race.
These next gens are definitely allow people to just take a lot more hits and rebound from it as Zofield's down pit road. Slavanovsky, I think he probably killed his car, maybe. Sitting there, but now McQuaid's really in some traffic as he goes around Dylan Ellis. DJ looks like he's trying to get at least one of his laps back. He's 3 laps down currently. He will now be 2 down. As Trey Whitehead now comes down pit road. That's one of the first cars that are up there in positions. Pits on lap 50, so probably going to split it 50, 100, and then 150 for their pit stops and go to the end.
Patrick must be having a hard time because Lilith is cutting through those cars, and she gained half a second that lap.
She's definitely gaining. I mean, she ran a 23.95. Patrick ran a 24.86. That's almost a whole second faster that Lilith just ran compared to McQuaid.
Down another 10th that last lap.
Says somebody has crashed here. But he jumped to the pit, so I do want to see what happened here with Roberge. Oh, he hit. Oh, yep. That's what happens every now and then. Oh, Roberge is trying to get on pit road. You see him miss it. He actually gets to the line, but he can't turn down, and he just smacks the barrels at the end of it. Has to tow it. Immediately blows his engine. That's not good for Chris Roberge at all.
I'm telling you, I don't know when these guys are having to pit. Some of these guys are probably going all the way to the end and hoping for a caution, but that last lap, another 2/10 for Lilith on the 77 of McQuaid.
Lilith, she's definitely gaining. McQuaid is going to have to start looking in his rearview mirror for Lilith. Lilith will have to go around Zofield. It won't really hurt her exit, though. She wants her entry. She wants to have a good exit. As Zofield's going to kind of mess that up, so she's probably going to lose a little bit of time this lap to McQuaid, as she looks like she loses about a 10th down the backstretch, not being able to get the exit that she needs. McQuaid, I think. Just looking at McQuaid, I mean, he's coming. I mean, she's going to catch him as She was
did
just
lose a
barely
little that
slower.
lap. Yeah.
Barely slower that lap.
A lot of drivers coming to pit road. They can't handle the tightness of the car anymore.
They just said, nah, forget that. You see McLaughlin, he's running to the... I mean, he's probably going to run it dry. I'm somebody too, you know, I run that tank dry. As long as I can go, might as well. It looks like Ron Seisberg. Yeah. Ooh, that's the three. Lucas Whitehead shot sideways there.
You know, talking about pit strategy, it just kind of all depends as the 77 almost goes up into that Mopar car. Sharp looking Casey Kane Mopar scheme there. But Lilith is there. She's almost half a second back. Less than a half a second, 0.3 of a second back. Here she is diving it off into 1. She's going to try to get that run coming out of 2 to get to the back of the bumper of the 77 coming down the straightaway.
He's going to get ever so close. So now this is when it gets difficult. Once you catch him, you got to pass him. You're like, well, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, and the 77's got to figure it out. Is he going to let her go? And the moment he lets her go, he's got to either decide he's going to continue on going or pit with the rest of the field. Because it's been a long green flag run.
As McQuaid.
And the longer these cars go out, the longer they stay out, the faster these other cars are going to gain on them. But she's going to give them a run coming down the back or the straightaway here, coming to the start-finish line.
Listening to McQuaid's throttle control, I can hear him just pedaling the throttle. He can't put the power down like he needs to.
She really backed that corner up. She's going to get all the way down, and she's getting a big run coming out of the straight. Gets to his inside. See how hard McQuaid's going to fight on the outside.
McQuaid's going to have to try something here, but it looks like he will lose that position to Lilith. So put Lilith on the point. McQuaid's tires, I think, have finally gotten way too tight for him to be able to turn at all. So we'll have to see what is that? We'll have to see how long he stays out. It's just, we got to see how he does. So the guys that haven't came down pit road is the top 13 drivers right now. So I'm guessing their fuel could maybe go to, honestly, like lap 80-ish. But Lilith has found out how to save her tires here, so she's not having to deal with them being burnt off.
Yeah, and she's stepping it out from Patrick here, almost up to a second already. As it looked like, I thought I saw the 14 kind of brush the wall just a little bit coming out of 4.
That very well may be just the net code there. She's been close to the wall a lot. As Ryan Sizemore, he's now down pit road. He'll be taking 4 tires and fuel. He'll be happy to get them off, because I know some of you guys are probably screaming, get these tires off of my car. I have absolutely no turn in them anymore. So they probably...
That's the 91 coming in now, too.
William George's in. They probably learned something from this first run.
Oh, man, the 31 got wicked sideways coming out of 4 with the lap cars on the outside.
Back and watch what happened with him as we were watching guys go down. Oh, that's the 88 of Noah Owens. Oh, Trey just got a little... Or Brock Whitehead just got a little bit tight. He just barely nicked Noah. Was able to keep it straight.
31's coming this time.
He probably realized, yeah, I'm not doing that. Anymore. He can't do that anymore. He's like, yeah, I got loose that one time. Those tires just keep getting hotter and hotter and hotter as Jeff Taylor came down. So did Warren Young. He's down also. William George, he should be 4 tires and fuel. And off and away as a 47 missed his pit box. He has to back up.
Lilith is on pit road. 77's on.
89 and Matt Mettler's coming down also. This will put Noah Owens to the lead as he almost makes contact with another Whitehead. Sorry, that was the 23 of Trey Whitehead there. Almost got wrecked. He's the only guy that has not pitted. Lilith needs a clean pit stop, clean in, clean out. Doesn't need to mess up here at all as she gets in clean. And Christian Roos, if you're watching, look at your driver doing good here tonight. But again, if you all are new to Ghost Racing Network, if you don't mind throwing in a subscription, we are at 585 subscribers. We'd like to hit 600 by the end of this night. Might be possible, if not by the end of this month. This will probably end the cycle for everybody that needs to come down pit road. They'll all get their lap back now. They'll all get past Noah Owens here. Hupka pulling off. Lilith should get the lead here again. She might have actually gotten loose off the 2, looking at how low she was.
I'm keeping my eye on DJ and Trey here. Radio communications are quite hairy. Keep an eye on him as Trey's looking to pounce on DJ early with these fresh tires.
He's only got 5 lap pressure tires in DJ, but 5 laps is a lot. It is a lot of time. You wouldn't think 5 laps means a lot, but you'll see here real soon what it means to these guys.
And if you remember, go ahead. Sorry, I was just going to talk about last week with these 2 drivers. They were racing real hard with each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people in the league don't race DJ very clean because that's how he races them. He's a hard driver. I never had any incidents with him, but he's not a very light driver in the Ghost Cup Series at all.
Lilith Peters is on pit road. No? Where did she go here?
She is probably in turn. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yep. It took me to pit road for a second when I went to her name. It was weird. I was like, uh-oh, what happened? But there she is leading the race.
She's got a almost 3.5 second lead over Jonathan Cogswell. He pit on lap 50. Lilith pit on lap 65. So she's got some of the freshest tires besides McQuaid, who pitted on lap 65. McLaughlin pitted on lap 65 also. These fresher tires will show that you should get fresh tires if you can. It's just the meet your maker here. If you don't get fresh tires, you're kind of dead. As McQuaid just set the fastest lap of the race for 22.77.
Yeah, he's got his eyes set on George right now. George is working over some lap traffic coming out of 4, but McQuaid wants to get back to the front. I think he feels he's got something for Lilith.
Might have found something. Maybe something he can do to save his tires a little bit. As William George, he will get the 2nd position from Cogswell, so move him up to 2nd. Cogswell back to 3rd is, I think Cogswell, yeah, he pitted 15 laps before McQuaid, so McQuaid's not going to have a real challenge here at all. He'll probably blow right by him, too. Yeah, this looks like he'll hard to get up under
My
him.
mistake. I thought that was a lap car. I didn't realize that was Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan's kind of rolled the dice, and I don't think it's working for him quite just yet, as we still got, looks like Trey actually got around DJ. DJ's losing a lot of positions because he pit on lap 44. He knocked his toe in so bad, he just had to come down pit road. I mean, you can't drive that long with a knocked-in toe.
Lilith is walking away from 2nd and 3rd. McQuaid's gonna catch George. George gets around the lapped car of the 12. McQuaid's there. He's gonna get the run coming out of 4. There is a little bit of draft here. You can use the draft coming down the straightaway, but you pretty much even out going into the corners. It basically all boils down to that corner entry. As you see, McQuaid steps it out just a little bit coming out.
Trying to get that run, trying to get that car to rotate down to the bottom.
If I was George, I'd let him go.
One thing I do realize is drivers the whole entire night have not been, full on out the corners. I mean, you can hear them just feathering the throttle. They can't get all the power down. It's just feather it to try to get it to work for them.
McQuaid thought about it, but George kind of shut the door on him.
McQuaid got to find a way around George. George only has 2 lap older tires, so the tire difference isn't that big between these 2 drivers currently. As looking at George, he's actually catching Lilith at the same time as he's doing this.
I was just going to say, McQuaid may have just realized that as well and decided, hey, I might just follow the 91 until I can't follow him anymore and see how, as he's making a move through, oh my gosh, it was close. I didn't know exactly what that car was doing on the inside, but he was going to go for it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to dive it on in. There's McQuaid's going to bang it off the wall. Now that's going to hurt that toe. Doesn't look like it gets any visible damage, but it may have knocked it in, so this may give George a little bit of breathing room. Finally, he doesn't have to worry about Patrick McQuaid being all over him.
Yeah, it's not what McQuaid needed at all.
Not one bit. I will agree with that. I did want to see some of these guys that have fresher tires. They're not really slicing through the pack like I thought they would. It's taking them a long time to do it.
I feel like the guys with the freshest tires are pretty close to these guys that are out front right now.
So looking at lap times, we got everyone's running almost the same lap times as Lilith that pitted around her. Now, Jonathan, he pit on lap 50. He's running about 6/10 off, but that's just because he's got older tires than those guys. They're not going to act the same. There's nothing you can really do about that either.
Which looks like he started 15th and he's currently running 4th at this point in time. I mean, if a caution came out, which could very well happen, he's literally sitting pretty because every one of these people are going to go right back down pit road and top off on fuel and at least get right sides.
Yeah, if I were these guys, they pit on lap 64. I'd honestly take 4 tires. I would not want to gamble with 2. I do not think that would end up well for most of them. 47, you see he's back here now. Roberge is still on pit road. He had to tow because he blew up his engine because he missed the entry to pit road and hit the barrels. So he's had a rough night.
Done that many times. It's hard to get onto pit road here. Looks like McQuaid's gotten past George, moved into 2nd place. George back to 3rd. Trey Whitehead has passed Cogswell. He's up to 4th. Where did Brock come out after pit road? He's pretty far back there in 6th place. He was right up in the top 3.
He might have waited. He waited one more lap than William George. I'm not sure where he came in on pit road, though.
Sounded like the 77 scraped the wall coming down the backstretch, which isn't hard to do here.
Yeah, I did hear that. Heard that audio cue of him. Somebody's scraping it. Just not sure who it was, though.
Now, even though Patrick got around George, he's not cutting into Lilith's lead. Lilith is still out by just over 3 seconds, coming into lap 86 of this race.
See, Chris Hupke, he just went 1 lap down. He pit on lap 65 also. He's not had a good night. He's had a rough one so far. Williams hanging with him. He's actually running faster lap times now than these 2 in front of him, but he's probably done with steps out on him going off of 2. It's not what you want to see. You do not want to hear those. The scariest thing when you're driving one of these cars is you hear a random RPM pickup. That means you're loose and you're probably wrecking. That's not what you want to hear in these cars. Zofield and Dylan Ellis will go around these guys. Dylan's still in the lead lap. He's got something to race for. DJ, he is actually on the lead lap now, but Lilith will catch him. He had to pit early and use his fast repair because there was no way that car was making it to the end.
And Brock Whitehead has moved his way up into the 4th position. He's 11 seconds back from 3rd place of George. We'll see how well he can cut through the field and get as much position. I don't know if he had a hard time getting to pit road or what, but it seems like he lost a lot of time to these front 3 guys. Excuse me, and a gal too. I don't want to mistake that we have a female in here whooping up on these guys.
One thing, I chose Lilith last week and I got made fun of for that. They're like, you won't stop talking about Lilith. Yeah, well, when she went through the field and then did it again at Texas of all tracks, and you kind of got to pick her to win the race. As McQuaid is now gaining here. Lilith might have had a bad entry because she had to go past DJ there.
It's hard not to pick, like, why be made fun of? I'm going to pick the driver that I feel has got the best chance of winning, no matter what their sex is. You know, she did a fantastic job last week coming through the field, not once, but twice she did it, and now she drove through the field here. So she's shown over and over again between last week and this week that she's a contender, and she can run anywhere in any make.
He ran in Hupke's place last week at Texas. He's running in Christian Roos's place here tonight.
McQuaid's cut it down to about little over 2.25 of a second out of Lilith. I'm not sure if she's having a hard time getting through the field.
Two really deep.
Looks like
They
she's-
didn't really hold up McQuaid there at all either.
No, she looks like she's just kind of out in her own world right now, running her own race. She did pick it up that lap by 0.2 over Patrick.
Got two Ghost Racing Network drivers, or Ghost Racing drivers here. Jeff Ree and Brandon McLaughlin almost cut off Ryan Sizemore's nose there, trying to get an entry to the corner. I'm looking at really bad for him. Warren Young, he's in 10th right now. Not having a horrible night, not having a good night either. I just want my drivers to do good, no matter where they are. Hupka's probably happy with what he's seeing one of his cars leading the race right now. If only this was Roos. I don't even know if Roos is watching this. He probably is, maybe. I don't know. You just said, or I just saw your comment there, JP said she's going to get those podiums. Yeah, she probably will.
She's gonna get a trophy. She don't want no podium. She wants that trophy.
Lowfield shot off the wall. It's ended up horrible. As Warren will get a spot on Trey Whitehead here. Trey put
The 51 in the wall right behind Lilith.
keeps going though as he's running really high on the track. Jonathan Cogs almost plows him. Allow Hupka to get by him. You guys have kind of settled down now. I do expect pit stops probably around lap 120 then in the race. They might stretch it, and I'd honestly stretch it to the very end, see how long you can go on a tank of fuel. Again, I like to run the tank drive. Literally been sputtering coming down pit road a couple races. I actually won a race when I had 0.2 gallons left in the tank. I have no idea how I did that time, but it was absolutely amazing.
And see, I play that out too. I'm one of those guys that normally like to run as long as I possibly can because I like to be the person that benefits from dealing with a caution while everybody's running under pit road. Kind of what happened with Darlington a few weeks ago. You know, when these guys, they pit, if it's going green like this, we haven't had any cautions. So it's going to put it in the back of my mind, you know, the moment that I can make it to the end of the race on fuel, I know I got to pit one more time, but if the cautions ain't going to come out and I got to get an edge on these leaders and try to win this race, I may change my strategy and pit in as soon as I can and get all of that time back on these guys while they're out running around trying to make it to the end of their tires.
So, you know, I like the tire advantage more than anything else. If they do not get a tire, I just like the new tires. I really do. I prefer them more than anything else. And I don't know, I just like running it to the end. I'm just somebody who likes to stay out there for as long as possible.
I mean, Lilith has stepped it out over 4 seconds now.
So, yeah, she's going to be running into a huge wad of lap traffic here, though. So she's going to have to really, really start picking through this as Dylan will just give her right of way, not even fight him.
51 in the wall again, coming out of 4.
He's not having a good night either.
Now, Lilith is going to be careful. I'm seeing drivers coming down to pit road. These will be drivers that pit early at the last group of pit stops. And she's right in the mix of all those drivers. And some of these guys are having a hard time getting to pit road. 51 in the wall again, coming out of 4. He is struggling right now.
So that car is probably just plowing at this point. Not wanting to turn at all as he's just pretty much using the wall to turn himself. Going to go down pit road now as Lilith has a huge load of lap cars she's got to go through. This is Lucas Whitehead, who's actually in 14th, so she's lapped up to that far in the race.
Yeah, this is what McQuaid wants to see. He wants to see her struggle with these cars. She's got 4 cars that are running all separate lanes here, so she's got no place to go midway through this corner. She's going to have to pick her way through the field coming down a straightaway and hope some of these guys are just going to give it to her.
Keep in mind, some of these guys are trying to hold on to the lead lap position that they have. They don't want to go a lap down But Lilith's probably going to try to put him a
Big
lap.
moves on the inside.
Steve.
Wow, man, oh man.
TJ, I think he got tied up the corner. It might have been Mettler that got tied also, but there was almost a wreck there. He's going to try to get under TJ and lap him. He will go one lap down here as Mettler just reappears out of nowhere. Looks like that is a paint designer, THD Designs. I see a lot of these paint schemes made from this painter, but I'm seeing a lot more. I use Iron Horse. We also have a painter in our race, and Noah Owens makes absolutely beautiful paint schemes. I remember his season opener at Daytona was probably one of the best paint schemes I've ever saw, as it kind of fits my PC build. It's blue and white, mainly white, and had some blue in it. It was absolutely amazing. Looking at times, Lilith really isn't getting held up by him as much, and she's picking her way through. I think she's trying to go down there.
She is right now as the threes just jumped right in front of her.
I think she was trying to get down. I think they also saw the aid of Ryan Seisman where he was a little bit slower. She'll go to the inside of Lucas Whitehead, get that position. She'll try to lap Matt Mettler by the exit of the corners. Mettler looks like he'll pedal a little bit, give her the room. Got two teammates running pretty much in no man's land right now, Jeff Taylor and Brandon McLaughlin. You got Warren Young back here. These guys are kind of in the middle of nowhere almost. And I think Lilith very well made lap, probably to 7th. The way she's running right now. Unless a caution comes out, I just don't see really anything happening for her. She got past that group pretty well, and she actually gained time overall.
Yeah, now McQuaid will have to get through that same group. And these guys are racing. They're not just riding around, they're racing for position right now. So every one of these guys are trying to get these points. Trey Whitehead in the wall coming out of, looked like, pretty sure that was 2. Then wasn't too bad, kind of scraped it, but looks like he's carrying on just fine. Lilith Peters' lead is up to 5.3 seconds now. Stepping it out, she started 10th, running first on the grid right now with Patrick McQuaid in 2nd, William George 3rd, and Brock Whitehead 4th.
This track has kind of gone overcast too, so speed's probably going to be picking up a little bit more for these guys. It did. Oh, we got a caution on the track.
Caution.
Johnny
Man,
Williams is sitting in the middle of 3 and 4. He toes it immediately. What happened with him? First caution of the race.
I heard apologies on race control.
Oh, that something had to have died. I mean, he just hooked it. His steering wheel must have just decided to stop working here, because we'll watch from his view. I mean, this thing just snaps. I don't know, I don't think he bobbles. Like, that just looks like he almost overcorrected, or that might have been, he might have let go of the steering wheel. Something must have happened there, because he hit incredibly hard. Now this is going to put a lot of guys back on the lead lap. They'll take the wave around. They'll actually have to come down pit road. I know the person who's a lucky dog is going to be pretty happy, but Lilith will have an easy time down here on pit road. She will not have to worry about getting passed by anybody. And she can even slide through her box, and she'll be perfectly fine. As you can see it there, you can't even see McQuaid in the picture until that far back, probably about 15 car lengths back there behind her on pit road.
He hears no mistakes. You cannot afford a mistake at this stage in the race. We are 114 laps into this race. You cannot expect to be able to come back from a mistake on pit road and win this race.
Yeah, she's off and away literally easily for her. And yeah, everybody, kind of a tight race off pit road though, between the rest of the field. as I need to find something for our another streamer, Austin, here very quickly for you all. He will be streaming a money race, probably might be starting, I don't know, very soon, maybe, possibly. I don't even know right now. He just kind of streams whenever. When was it? Need to take one more photo of this. There we go. So, caution finally comes out a little bit past halfway for these guys. But yeah, so this is weird because the guys that stayed out, they get not the wave around. I know it's just odd for them now. I need to figure out what this is right here. As yes, that's what that is.
Well, it's going to get real interesting between these drivers because Lilith is here filling in, so she's hungry. She almost had a win last week in another car. She's right there to get a win this week in another car. And then you've got McQuaid sitting there in the 77, who led the majority of the first period of this race. And then you have Brock Whitehead, who has also, been a player all race long. But watch to see if they let Lilith get away from them this time as they try to win this race.
They got a long way to go. They will have one more pit stop. They will not have to get it full of fuel, and after taking 4 tires, might as well get all the fuel you can. Thing is, actually, everybody did come down pit road, so they do have tires, thankfully for them. So we're not going to see guys absolutely snapping on somebody and wreck them. But lights are off on the pace car. Lilith Peters, Patrick McQuaid, Brock Whitehead, William George, Jeff Taylor, and Warren Young, the top 3 rows here. The restart is in the hands of Lilith Peters. When she fires off, McQuaid can fire off. McQuaid goes before and beats her to the line. That will be a black flag for him. Cannot beat the leader to it.
He's pretty far back there.
As green flag goes back in the air, looks like we got the top 3 rows get going good. But behind them, they do not get going at all.
Now I'm expecting the 31 and the 77 to race really hard right now.
See, McLaughlin hits the wall back there. We only have 11 drivers on the lead lap currently, so if they can get another quick caution, that might actually kind of benefit some of these guys. But I think they need to realize right now is we need to just settle in, be nice and conservative with our tires. If we go and burn them off, there's not really a chance for us to earn it back now. Brock's kind of getting hounded now from McQuaid. Lilith is almost starting to set sail as William George is looking on Warren Young. He runs about a line higher than Jeffrey Taylor. Not Warren Young was looking at the car behind him as William almost swipes the rear end of Jeff. Just tapping just a little bit.
Yep.
Just nicking that wall every now and then. You got to be careful with that. You do not want to go up there and absolutely pound it. If you do that, it's just not going to end up well for you overall.
Gonna get a run on the... Nope, I thought he was gonna shoot the gap on Taylor, but he missed it. Brock's starting to step it out on McQuaid just a little bit. Peters' lead up to almost half a second. As I say that, McQuaid makes a run coming down the straightaway.
Brock kind of threw a little bit of a block there, ran lower down the backstretch that didn't let McQuaid get his entries. Larry Murphy just ran the fastest lap of the race at 22:74 early on, or late in the race now for him. So he's picking up some speed as it goes, but William George is pounding Jeffrey Taylor for this position. He's not going away from him. He's letting him know that he's there.
Yeah, he's got to figure out how to get around this car right now, because as he's fighting to get around Taylor, he's got the 42 of Warren Young behind him, and the other guys in front of him are setting sail as he's going to try to make a move to the inside, but can't get enough momentum going into 3.
He was right on the bumper of Taylor. He might give him a little bit of a tap here. Keeps being able to get good rotation in the middle of it. That's giving him a run through it, but he just can't go anywhere because it's off the corner when Taylor is just kind of, it's a little bit slower, and you can't really pull the wheel up under him like he needs to be.
He's going to get a run right here, see if he can get it to the inside.
Like Taylor's going
Shoots it down there.
Taylor gave him the lane, but William George just wasn't able to get in there deep enough. He's going to get right back to the bumper of him again. Keeps getting as close as he can to the bumper of him.
Oh, he's going to move him. Give him a little bump.
Oh, Taylor hard into the ball, down into Larry Murphy. And the 8 of Ron Sizemore is involved.
Now, it looked like they touched going into that corner, but then it looked like Taylor got smooth again and then got loose getting back to the throttle.
So we'll have to see what happened here. George was able to get just such good rotation. Now you can see him there. He gets in the middle. He just swipes the end of Taylor. Taylor then goes up on, or down to the apron. That's where it's going to get really loose on him. I'll have to see, does he snap it around? He's counter steering there. He has it saved. Comes off the corner, puts a lot of right wheel into it, and it just snaps on him there. And he goes down into Larry Murphy. William George net codes through it. Ron Sizemore is trying to go to the bottom, and he gets involved also. I don't think Ron Sizemore damage is too bad, but that's going to be a fast repair for a lot of these guys because that was a hard hit for some of them. This will send everybody back down pit road, though, so it's going to be interesting. They can't make it to the end. They'll have to pit at least one more time. That was not a good thing for them, as Lucas Whitehead will stay out. So stays out on lap 127. Only went 13 laps on those tires. But 13 laps is a lot. It is a lot. It's Taylor will. He's lucky his car still drives. It's evidently got a meatball flag. There's no question about it. He'll have to pop his fast repair here. As he'll do that there, you see it pop back out. Everything else on it. William George, he had such good rotation through the middle. I mean, there's nothing that you can really blame him for there. He was just trying to do that, and then Taylor saved it, and then he just put a lot of right wheel into it, and it just snapped on him there, and it sent him hard into the wall.
Yeah, it didn't help that he touched the left front on the apron coming out of 2 either. That really upset the car coming out of that corner. It's just a hard thing. And these cars, when you overcorrect in them, that's what they do. They just snap. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just all of a sudden, boom, you're in the wall.
Yeah, compared to the Gen 6s, they have faster steering, which allows for just more turn, but also you have to kind of saw at the wheel when you're trying to save it. You have to keep making these, I can't really represent it, but I'm kind of always, if I get loose, I'm always kind of steering it, kind of going back to the right, and I'm not really cranking it. I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of wheel going back there, because I know if you crank it in there, it will just snap, and it will do exactly what you saw happen to Taylor there. Not fun to deal with, that's for sure. Guys they'll get the green on lap 130, I believe. You see a lot of these cars in front of them. They're just waiting to get the wave around so they can get at least one of their laps back. And would really hope they got a quick caution here, because if they don't, they're going to get cooked again. They'll have to come back down pit road way before.
How many sets of tires do these guys have to use? Guys and gals to use?
I think it may be 4 sets of tires. I think they might have bumped it up one because of the new update too. So it's 4 at least. I think they've already used 3 sets here too.
You know, I just want to point out on the 14 ride, I'm a purple fan. And I also do a lot of paint jobs. I painted George's 91 car for today and the car he ran last week. But that 14 car is sharp looking. It looks like a Ford paint scheme. You know what I'm talking about? You know how Dodge has that certain scheme that just signifies that Dodgeness to it, and this Ford looks like a Ford. It doesn't look like a Chevrolet paint scheme on a Ford. It doesn't look like anything it shouldn't be. It looks like a car that would actually be on that racetrack, and she's doing it justice.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. There seems some paint schemes fit well with even drivers too. I know Gordon was he was just locked onto that Rainbow Warriors paint scheme. So this might be a. But Lilith doesn't have a paint scheme attached to her because she ran Hubkas last week, and now she's running Roosters this week. It's kind of weird for her. Pace car's going to pull off, though. Lap 130, they're going to grab the green here. Lilith is the starter. When she fires, they can go off. Going to be entering the Geico restart zone here. As green flag is back in the air, we are back underway. Lilith doesn't get that good of a start over McQuaid. McQuaid might actually fight her getting into this corner here. As somebody's around, that is the 8. That's going to bring on a quick, or sorry, the 3. That's going to bring on a quick caution. That was Lucas Whitehead, I believe, that got put in the wall. As he downs. Oh, yep. So everyone's gonna make this mistake. I've about made it a couple of times. We're gonna listen to his gearbox. Yeah, that's not 3rd gear. He grabbed 1st gear again on accident. He's not gonna be too happy with himself, and it blew up the engine immediately. He's trying to coast around, but I don't think he's gonna make it. But that happens every now and then.
Especially if you're running a shifter. A lot of these guys, they're running with the paddles on the back side of the wheel. But some of these guys, that shifter that they use, it's so close in a shift pattern that if you go you have to go up to the left or up to the right just a little bit to hit 3rd. And if you don't hit it right, you'll hit 1st and then pop that's what happens. Well,
these are actually sequential cars, so they really only have 2 options. He might have the paddles, and he probably honestly might have just forgot that that down, whichever way he has it programmed, down could be down a gear or could be up a gear, up could be down a gear or up a gear. He might have honestly just forgot at that point and just shifted into the wrong gear, because it's hard to blow these cars up unless you force it into that gear, because they will not want to do it with that sequential gearbox. As all these guys are under caution here. What were you going to say there?
Oh, I was just saying that it looked like Trey was getting a lap back.
Looks like he was.
Worked out in his favor.
As these guys are under caution, though, we will take our 2nd commercial break here. 132 laps into the race.
stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And we are back here at Dover, 134 laps in the race here currently. Drivers have at least one more pit. Oh, actually, I might take that back. No,
Now
they got one more.
be able to make it to the end now.
It'll be close. They might have, yeah, they'll have it. If you save, well, some of these guys, yeah, I don't think the guys that stayed out have it. TJ could make it to the end. Trey could also maybe make it to the end.
Oh, none of those guys went in.
Pace car pulls off here. Lilith will lead him back to green.
Nice tight pack.
Actually gets a little bit of a better start than McQuaid there. I think McQuaid ended up bobbling. See Patrick McQuaid he actually loses a position there. Warren Young's going to get up under him, try to fight him for that one. This is going to bring Noah Owens into it as Warren decides, yeah, it's not worth it right now, so he just tucks back in behind him. George got a little bit tight there off the corner as he got us shooting down. See Taylor's going to have to work back into this pack here as he did have that wreck that brought this most recent caution. Car just ended up snapping on him. He's going to go up under Noah Owens as we got the 47 and the 81 banging doors. Going to run McLaughlin up the track there. Brock's having to deal with McQuaid right now. McQuaid's not really going away from him at all.
It's kind of hard to judge what these guys are thinking. You know, Lilith, he was taken off from the guys through the last stage of green flag laps. You know, these guys are going to have to figure out some way to be able to get to her bumper by the end of this race.
Lilith, she's going to be about 6 laps short. So it'll be 4 tires on fuel for her. Now, she won't have to fill it full of fuel. But if you're taking 4 tires, I get it pretty close to full. She might run it to the... I think they'll probably hit lap 160 to 170 is when we'll see guys shoot down pit road. William George is running the fastest lap of the race at 22:70. Going to set his sights on Warren Young.
If I had 6 laps of fuel left, I would go in and get a splash of gas and get the heck out of pit road, because it's at the end of the race and you might as well just go.
I think we'll probably see some guys hit before it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm looking at Trey, because Trey will be closer than everyone. 132, he is on the lead lap. So he could save and stretch it, but he will be stretching it about 6 extra laps. So he's going to have to save incredibly hard if he's going to do that at all.
Which he could do it if he starts doing it right now. Even if he loses 10 seconds, the amount of time he's going to save not pitting is going to be massive.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be so close. That caution fell at a weird time. It didn't allow these guys to be able to run it to the end on the fuel that they had remaining for him.
I mean, some of these drivers went 65 laps on tank of fuel, so, you know, it's possible they could stretch it out. These guys up front, they ain't stretching nothing out. They're trying to catch Lilith. They want to lead this race. Brock's closing in on her right now, down to 0.2 of a second with Patrick McQuaid, about a half a second back from Lilith.
I saw Lilith be better on the long run than everybody else, so might be taking it a little bit easy too, realize I don't have to burn up my tires at this moment and kind of save them a little bit more here. We got somebody bouncing off the wall. I'm not sure who that is, though, as that was actually TJ Hanley. After he's had a good night, he bounces it off the wall, coming off a 2 there. He just keeps it up there, gets out of the way of those guys. He's actually currently running 14th. This is the best run I've saw him have. Roberge is back on the track after hitting the barrels and blowing his engine. That'll be a blooper moment for him. He will not be too happy with himself. But Brock, he's coming to the bumper of Lilith now. He's not going to let Lilith relax here at all.
Nope, he's gonna work her a little bit. He's gonna give her all that he's got. He's probably gonna ride behind her for a little bit just to say, hey, I'm there, you know, and make her sweat it out. Because right now, if she's running as hard as she possibly can to stay in front of Brock, and say Brock isn't running as hard, and he's just kind of riding around behind her. It may look like he's trying really hard, but he could just be riding. And if he's riding, he's saving, and she's burning her stuff up.
Could also be kind of pulling him with her, staying in the draft also. So could be saving a little bit of fuel doing this too. But I think he's got maybe the upper hand on Lilith right now. Seeing Jeffrey Taylor, he's back up to 6th, kind of where he was when he wrecked also. He just got a little bit of a tap from William George, almost like this right here, exactly. Williams trying to set his sights on Warren Young right now currently to get the 4th position. Warren's back where he started. Williams down 2 positions from where he started. He started in 3rd. Warren started in 4th. McQuaid started in 1st. He's down to 3rd right now, late in the race, but he's still got time. Oh, Lilith has it step out on her. Uh-oh.
Brock's there. He's putting that pressure on her. That's what I'm talking about. Like if I'm putting myself in Brock's shoes right now, if I'm Brock riding behind Lilith, she's been running this race to lead the whole time, I'm just going to be there and make her make a mistake like she just made. It almost cost her the lead of this race.
Yeah, she's going to have to change how she drives now, knowing that she's got Brock behind her, but she may also be realizing, yeah, he's pushing hard. I'm not going that hard. So it's kind of, who's going to be pushing each other here? Is Brock making Lilith drive hard? Is Lilith making Brock drive hard? It's kind of a mind game between drivers sometimes in iRacing. You don't really know how hard they're pushing in the run.
Meanwhile, McCade has fallen way off from where he was, and I think he might be saving a little bit.
He's currently running about 23 flats. He gets loose off that corner, almost has it snap on him. Taylor's been trying to deal with these guys. He actually got passed by Larry Murphy here. His other teammate, McLaughlin's trying to pass him too.
Warren Young working over McQuaid right now as they come out of 4.
Definitely making sure that he gets to the bumper of him. He's going to swipe him. Drivers got to be careful. We saw a lot of guys about to swipe the rear end of each other. That can end up one of 2 ways. You can either wreck each other or it can go bad.
Reports coming in, pit road, 51 is on his way down.
Yeah, but I think he's pretty much out of the running. He's not really near any of them. He's multiple laps down, so he's probably just coming down to really get some fuel as Warren is about to hound McQuaid for the spot.
Big run. Yeah, big run. Back that corner up real nicely. Doesn't look like McQuaid's going to fight either one of these guys very hard. McQuaid knows that he's probably pushing a little bit coming out of the corner. And don't be surprised if McQuaid's not saving. We still have 45 laps left in this race, and he only needs a handful of laps to make it to the end.
You see, they've kind of made a go. Lilith put herself on the wall there coming off the 4th. It's the 2nd time she's done that. Got Brock. Brock is just right there on her. He is not leaving her alone at all. She's probably looking in the rearview mirror. It says Sophia has crashed.
A little new driving.
You know, she's got to change her. I mean, she's got somebody there. As Warren, he's now gaining on these guys. He ran almost a 10th faster than Brock that last lap, as he actually runs a 10th faster than both of them. So Warren's coming. So is George. So while these 2 drivers are doing that, these guys have decided, I'm just gonna run as hard as I can and then come down pit road and get 4 tires and fuel to the end of it.
Yeah, well, Brock's got to decide what he wants to do now. This has changed. It went from being with Patrick behind him and not putting any pressure on him to now he's got guys that are coming up to the rear of his car that's going to start putting pressure on him. And he's got to decide whether or not he wants to get around Lilith before getting to pit road or he's going to fight these guys.
It's always the hardest choice to make in racing is when do you come down pit road. It's cautions fall at the wrong time. We saw it happen 2 weeks ago. We saw it happen this week. Larson was leading Las Vegas, had the race in the bag, and caution came out with 5 laps left. Harvick probably had the race won at Phoenix, and then another caution came out that gave Larson an opportunity because he took 2 tires. And then Larson threw that opportunity away because Byron was able to hang it on his outside after the second overtime restart. First overtime restart, he probably had it.
I'm thinking Brock burned his stuff up trying to get up to Lilith. Maybe he wasn't running behind her because now he's falling off. And here's Warren Young is working on the high side coming into 3, getting it through the bottom of 4. He's going to get a good run. See if he can get to the inside of Brock. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this lap, but we'll keep an eye on him.
See how he diamonds this off. See him go kind of hook the bottom, put the power down as Brock had it step out on him. So Warren's going to have a good run down the backstretch. He realizes he can't really take it there. He has to just tuck in behind him again as he's trying to diamond that corner off. And that's going to work, but it's also going to hurt that tire. But it's working for him right now, so he might just abuse it a little bit just so he can get around Brock currently right now. He's going to sail it off in there, wait for it to bite, get a good run down the hill. Brock is loose. Brock is not having that car under control like he needs to. He's not super loose, so you can't really tell. But if you've done a lot of iRacing stuff, you can tell that car's wanting to step out on him.
Yep, Warren's got to make a move as he does going into the bottom of the corner here. He's got George getting up his rear tailpipe. Brock on the outside gets a little bit loose on the bottom of the corner. Has to get out of the gas. Drag race down to the backstretch.
As he wiggles, getting in there.
Oh, man.
As
he's going to cut him off.
Oh, he almost cleared himself over Brock Whitehead's front bumper. Warren might finally get it going into 1. That was almost catastrophe for those 2 drivers. He actually give up that position back to him. That's going to heat up those tires. This might give William George an opportunity.
I was just going to say, it's the last thing that they want to do is fight side by side because all that's going to do is burn these tires up. And Lilith is just going to continue on leading this race going into the end of it.
I want to see can Warren regain himself and pass Brock finally, because he's on the bumper. He's close to him, but he had an opportunity. He changed up his line going in there, and it worked getting the entry, but he just couldn't get clear of Brock. He almost squeezed Brock in the wall. He gets a good run down the front stretch, though.
Warren basically just had to do a little reset and had to get back in rhythm and doing what he was doing to catch Brock because that's what worked. And he'll be able to get back to his bumper and start working him over coming down the straightaway again, but he's just got to get that momentum all over again.
Lilith likes what she's seeing. Lap 167 of 200, so maybe we'll start seeing pit stops around 175-ish possibly for these guys because they're not going to be able to make it to the end. They'll have to come back down pit road.
47 is on his way in pit road this time.
That's Joseph coming down pit road. He's trying to get down, I think. Got Dylan Ellis below him, so he won't be able to get in this time. You see him trying to get down. I think he's going to have to go around. Yeah, he'll have to go around again. That car's caught him in the wrong spot as a 99 bangs it off the wall. Ellis almost went down into Lucas Whitehead, and that almost ended up really bad. Could have took out 2 drivers, but look, oh, he's cutting that close. He's getting to the bottom, and he wants to stay to the bottom, as they're not letting him get to the bottom. As he's trying, this is the second time he's tried. He might be able to get in this time. As nope, he can't get down this time either, so he has to go around again. He had it, but then those guys just decided to pass him on the bottom. I don't know why they wouldn't pass him on the top there. see if he can. No, he might not be going. So he's just staying out on pit road for as long as, or on the track as long as he can. Thought he was going down. Warren's still trying to hound Brock. I mean, Brock is having to deal with 2 mad Chevy Camaros behind him driving that Toyota Camry.
Yep, and George is getting impatient. He's watching that lead go. He feels he's got a fast car. As you see him making a move on the inside of Warren right now for third. He's not going to get it. Warren they're going to drag the race down the backstretch. George is still to his inside. These guys are fighting hard. George is going to get the momentum. Warren's not going to fight him.
Might be a better option.
Move Warren back.
Yeah, I was going to say, letting Warren might be a better option as DJ Daniel, he's down pit road. So the first taker of these cars that needed to come down pit road and get fuel and tires, it will be 4 tires. I would not even try to gamble with 2 because it will go horribly wrong for you if you try that.
With this many laps left, for sure. You best be taking 4 tires.
Yeah, it's just not even worth it at this point. He's off and away there. So when will everybody else come down pit road? Yep, George. I think he was being held up by Warren there because he's catching Brock again. He ran about 2/10 faster last lap. Got some smoke. That was Christopher Cash coming down pit road. He's a lap car. You won't be really paying much attention to that, but McQuaid has dropped a lot of positions now. He's down to 7th currently. Brock's going to have a nose full of William George here in a second. I mean, he's going to have to deal with him a lot.
George is going to big run right here. It's not going to get enough to get down to the inside of him going into the corner. But he's working him over pretty good.
We got him off the bottom there.
Got out of the gas. Let Whitehead get back in shape. And George is going to re-rack him and try it again.
Got off that corner pretty well. He just couldn't really get where he needed to on the exit. But this has now been drawing Jeff Taylor back into this. He wrecked earlier. He was the most recent caution as he overcorrected, snapped it into the wall. He's currently sitting 4th behind these 2 guys that are going to start going at it here.
And let's remember who it was that was on his bumper when he had just wrecked, and that was George, who's literally right in front of him. So George has got to figure out what he's got to do to get around Whitehead. It's time to go.
I think
Taylor's there.
Taylor honestly might get 2 and 1 here as they're going to be running up on the lap car of Chris Zofield here very shortly. Taylor looks like he's going to be kind of blocked. The whole track is. He can't really run high, can't really run low. He's going to try to get to the outside of William George. He's going to get a pretty decent run. They're all going to tuck in and try to go around Zofield on the bottom. If I'm one of these guys, I'd be more worried about getting around the lap car, and then we race it out after. I'm somebody who also has race etiquette. Some of the AO people just like to take you out. That's how they are. Some of them are dirty drivers. I'd be worried about this lap car more than anything. And then you can deal with what you have in front of you. This is now bringing McLaughlin back into this. And a lot of other guys just be mixed up into this count of drivers that are just coming in early or late in the race. As George, he's having to deal with, he's trying to get around Brock. He's also trying not to get passed by Taylor as Brock's going to give him the bottom. Maybe that's going to give George a hole down there. He will almost get this position. He's going to have to fight him going into this corner here. Going to have to get in there deep as Brock's going to hold it. Brock will lose that position, so that will move William George up to 2nd now.
Oh,
Taylor
man.
goes under Brock.
You have got to take advantage of it. If a guy in front of you gets the position,
Trey swiped.
Saved it. He saved it again, and he saved it again.
Yeah, so what happened there is McLaughlin tapped the rear end of the 31. That slowed him down, and then Trey really couldn't go anywhere. He tapped McLaughlin. McLaughlin was able to save it, though, as Warren Young almost wrecks coming off the corner. He's in 6th right now. William George, does he have any tire left?
19 laps to go. I'm not sure. It looks like Taylor is there.
I just think these guys have to come down pit road one more time. You just can't make it to the end. This will be See, 74 laps on fuel, and they've only been going about 65 laps on fuel.
Big run by Taylor.
Just, I don't see it happening for these guys. When are they going to come down pit road? Trey's going to get around Brock. I'm looking at Trey. Trey has 6 laps more fuel than these guys. So he only has to go... Let's see how many laps does Brock have to go. He only has to go 68 laps to the end. That's pushing the fuel window.
Taylor's moved up to 2nd spot.
I took that from George. He's like, Trey might have enough fuel to the end of this race. I think he may have enough. It'll be close, but I think he has the fuel for it. I don't know. I really do not know with Trey. It's Taylor.
Oh, Whitehead, Brock in the wall hard.
And there looks like he's going to lose 2 positions there. He loses 1 to Warren. He will probably lose 1 to McQuaid. But I'm curious now. How is this going to work? And these guys, I don't think you can stretch it 74 laps. I mean, that would be really, really stretching it.
I tell you who's trying. That's Patrick McQuaid.
McQuaid, he's going to be trying. I mean, it's just, I think you're just stretching it too long. As no, Lilith is being caught, but it's 13 laps left in the race. He's being caught by Taylor. But I don't know. I really do not know. Because Trey, he doesn't have to save as much as everybody else. He can just go flat out. He can go as hard as he wants to. Or harder than the people in front of him. He also got a little bit fresher tires. When I say a little bit, I mean barely fresher tires. But looking at Lilith, Jeffrey now has that within 4 seconds. He's got a clean track in front of him, too.
The gap is too big. Jeff's going to need a caution to get any ground on Lilith. You know, do we know for a fact that they're only getting that many laps? I mean, granted, we've seen them coming down pit road after that many laps, but we don't know for sure exactly how far they can go. You know,
I'm just kind of guessing. I mean, that's what I would think is you run it dry on the early runs to see how many laps you can actually get of fuel.
But sometimes people don't do that. Sometimes they change their minds and they'll still have a few laps left, which is weird to think about, but it happens.
Mind games is what happens when you race. You don't know when you're going to be out of fuel. You don't know when everybody else is going to come down pit road. You just have to end up finding it out. They start running out. Trey's he's in a good position. Lilith, I mean, she's so far ahead. She can even start saving too if she needs to. She's got a 4-second gap pretty much on Taylor.
Yeah, I think it's a little late for her now. I think she needs way more than these few laps to save any fuel.
Actually, looking.
What she's hoping for.
Well, we say that, but looking at Lilith, she's riding around in 5th gear. Taylor's riding around in 4th. We've got some guys riding around in 5th, and that's going to be saving you a little bit of fuel because it's keeping that RPM lower off the corner. I don't even know at this point. It's going to be close.
Whitehead's trying to track down George for that podium.
He definitely might catch him too. I mean, he's going to have to deal with Charles Whitehead in a minute. He might tell Charles, hey, just stay behind me. I'm trying to deal with this 91 in front, trying to catch him. The biggest mover has been TJ Hanley. He's actually up to 6th. He has done amazing this race.
Up 24 spots.
Actually, yep. Oh, Trey. Oh, I thought he almost wrecked there. He shot out from behind Larry Murphy, and I thought that was going to go bad. He just peeked out of nowhere. I thought he got loose off the corner. But
He's trying to catch George.
looking at Lilith, though, well, she was also in the corner. She's, I mean, they could, I think they're going to make it to the end with how these guys are driving. You don't have to go full throttle now if you're Lilith. As she's letting off, like, way early. Way early. But she's been riding around in 5th the whole entire time, too. So, that's been allowing her to save a little bit more fuel.
Whitehead to the inside of George. Gets a little loose. Can't make the pass.
He's going to try to get the spot on the 91. The 91's not going to give it to
Trying real
him.
hard.
George just has to hold him off for 2 more laps after this. He's going to give him a look to the inside. George can't get down there and block it either. So it'll be an old drag race who can get the better rotation in the middle of the corner. He's not going to let... No, he just has to tap it. He can't get the rotation. He almost comes down into Trey. As Warren Young, he's down pit road. I think he actually probably ran out of fuel. As Taylor is now within 2 seconds, but there's 1 more lap left in the race here for Lilith. He just needs to make it to the end. Just keep pedaling this thing off the corner and hope that fuel will go. Jeff needs to hope the exact same thing for him too. He's only got 2 more corners. But Lilith, a fill-in driver last week for Christopher Hupka, probably should have won that race, comes back and she redeems herself at Dover Motor Speedway as she will win here at the Monster Mile. Taylor will come home 2nd, Trey Whitehead 3rd, William George 4th, and Brandon McLaughlin, he will come home 5th. I want to know how close these guys were on fuel because they have to be incredibly close. That was a dominating race from Lilith. Let her burn it down here. She wins the fill-in driver for Christian Roos. That was a dominating race from her. I mean, she just dominated that whole entire race. There's no other words for it. Bring up the finishing order, however. Bring in the top 3 drivers here. As Trey Whitehead's already in here. Hey Trey, this is Bryce in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got you, Bryce.
And so you come home a little short in 3rd. You know, how close was it for y'all on fuel there at the end?
I was good. I don't know if you realize I was 2 laps down with about 50 laps to go in this race. No, not 50. It was about 80, but within a span of like 10 laps, I was able to get back on the lead lap and got a fresh set and filled up after everybody else had already pit. So I was plenty good on fuel. I think I had like 4 or 5 laps left. So, but yeah, it was kind of close for the guys up front.
I was going to say, I mean, I know fuel was a big thing here, but, you know, do you think if you didn't go down 2 laps earlier in the race, you would have maybe had a win here? Because you had to fight a lot to get back on the lead lap.
It just depends. I mean, the whole night I was trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, what my line was, and how I was treating the tires and stuff. somehow we figured it out for the last 70 laps that I had. So just glad to be able to fight all the way from 14th to 3rd in that last 65, 70 laps and do it. But no, I don't think I would have had anything for Lilith. She was pretty good at saving her tires all night long. Like I said, I had to figure it out up until the end. So just good, hard fought fight back to 3rd. So.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, obviously, Guggenbait's on the car. Pretty cool to get this paint scheme finally with a good finish. I think the first time I ran it was Vegas, and I didn't do too well there. Yeah, just like I said, glad to be able to give them a good run. Obviously, my team, Whitehead Racing with Brock, unfortunately, he was having tire issues at the end, so didn't really work out there. But all the guys over at Smoky Mountain Motorsports, Chris Cash, Lucas Whitehead, all them as well for the alliance that we've had practicing all week. And like I said, just took all week and then some tonight to figure out what I needed to do and got a good solid top 3. So on to next week.
All right, man. I actually got one more question because I guarantee there's probably asking this somewhere. People are wondering, where's the radioactive for last week?
Yeah, I had a long work week, so I'm gonna have to double it up this weekend and get it put out, get both of them put out for this week. So just have to figure it out. And then we've got the podcast in the works as well. So just be on the lookout.
All right, man. I'll let you go. Good 3rd place finish tonight, though, man.
All right, appreciate it.
Hey, Jeff. This is Bryce in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Bryce, what's going on, man?
Man, so you come home just a little bit short in 2nd, but how did the race go for you overall, though, man?
It was an up and down one. I felt like excuse me, trying to get some water in me. I felt like I had just as fast as car as anybody. Each run felt different. I wasn't able to. The first run, I run it wrong. Second run, I was really like, man, I like this. Third run, I overdrove it. But that last run, you know what I'm saying, Bryce? You kind of just feel it. Dover's just a real dynamic track, and I was really able to get a feel for it there at the end.
Yeah, Dover's a track, too. It kind of takes a little bit, like it's kind of a rhythm track, and you really don't think of it, but
It is.
It takes a little bit to get going. But what was going through your head when you actually snapped that into the wall? Did you think your race was over at that point?
No, I knew I was fast enough to get back up through there. Had all the confidence in the world. I had a fast repair. I wasn't worried about it. I was just trying to get back through them, and I'd restart at 9th with a fast repair. Wasn't least bit concerned.
I was gonna say, you had it saved, and just that overcorrection. I was like, oh dang! I was surprised that you came back through there. But no, do you think before I ask, how close were you on fuel to making it to the end?
Yeah, I had enough fuel to get to Washington D.C. from here, man.
So how long was y'all's fuel run the whole entire night? Because I thought it was 65 laps.
It was something in there, but boy, I was saving. I wasn't pushing it. Like literally, that's what I was like. I was able to save fuel and race it hard. That's what's different about Dover. It's one of those tracks where you can just kind of keep that. You almost don't even have to go full throttle down the straightaway. You can keep the same throttle momentum through the turns and really save a lot of fuel.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
I don't have no sponsors, but my teammates that always help me out at Dark Tempest Motorsports, Alonzo King and those guys over there. They're the ones that making me good, and also Kenny and Shane over at TWRS. Them boys is always there helping us out. So, shout out to them guys.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go. Good 2nd place finish tonight, though, man.
Yep, I'll holler at you, man.
As that was Jeff Taylor. I don't know why I say Jeffrey. That was Jeff Taylor. Driver profiles. Okay, that's what it is. So I will bring in the race winner and Lilith Peters. Hey, Lilith, this is Bryce in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Hello.
So you come back and you dominate this Dover race after you should have won at Texas. How did the race go for you overall, though?
Pretty clean, I guess. I was pleasantly surprised by just about everybody I raced.
I was gonna say, how close were you on fuel at the end, though? Because I know you guys were kind of pushing the window there.
I think I had about a burnout to spare, like a lap or two.
I was gonna say, because I knew y'all were like 65 laps on fuel, but y'all managed to stretch it to the end. But was there ever a point in the race that you felt like you didn't have a chance to win it here?
I thought Jeffrey might have been sandbagging and caught me somehow at the end, so I was a little concerned at the end. And then I thought people were short pitting and force stopping, but apparently not. So aside from that, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I mean, it's just I really thought y'all were gonna have to come back down pit road one more time. I did not think you all could make it on fuel from what y'all had. But before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, the primary sponsor on this car is the barbecue smoke pit. I'm part of Hubka Motorsports, so really big thanks to Chris Hubka for letting me race. And I'm in Christian Roos's car. I guess he couldn't make it, so I'm glad I could make the best for it. Thank you for broadcasting.
All right, well, I will let you go. But good job redeeming yourself. You should have won last week, but you won here at Dover. Go celebrate that victory.
Thank you. Bye bye.
That was Lilith Peters, the race winner. We'll go over the finishing order here now. Lilith Peters first, Jeff Taylor second, Trey Whitehead third, William George fourth, Brandon McLaughlin fifth, sixth, TJ Hanley, seventh, Noah Owens, eighth, Patrick McQuaid, ninth, Chris Hupka, 11th, Joseph, 11th, Brock Whitehead, 12th, Larry Murphy, 13th, DJ Daniel, 14th, Jonathan Cogswell, 15th, Warren Young, 16th, Christopher Cash, 17th, Lucas Whitehead, 18th, Matt Metler, 19th, Dylan Ellis, 20th, Chris Zofield, 21st, Ron Sizemore, 22nd, Charles Whitehead, 23rd, Christopher Burge, 24th, Johnny Williams, 25th was Mike Sabanowski. That was a dominating race from Lilith there. I mean, she just destroyed the whole entire field. I mean, there's no other words for it, but that was a dominating finish. She should have won 2 weeks in a row. She should have won at Texas probably, but she comes back and redeems herself for Christian Roos. Roos, how does your car number win, but you don't? Are you just that bad of a driver? I hope he watches this back and he sees that. As I like to poke fun at Roos. He was one of my old teammates when I did race in the Ghost Cup Series leagues. I stepped away to broadcast. I just like broadcasting more. Also make a lot of money on this for a side hobby. But y'all are bored. Austin is currently streaming another money racing series. It is the PB Blaster, I think. What's the name of it? Yeah, no, PGR Money Race. So hop over there again if y'all are new to Ghost Racing Network. If you don't mind throwing in a subscription, that will help us grow. We are at 587 subscribers. I would love to hit 600 soon. That would just be absolutely amazing for us. But I will roll this final ad and I will let y'all go. But remember to subscribe. It's always free and you can take it back.